Well, I heard that there was some stir, as I say, so I wanted to see firsthand what was happening.
Thank you for coming.
No problem.
Okay. What is your position on shale gas seismic testing and fracking?
We want a moratorium. So we've been pushing it. Actually, Dan, if you guys don't mind, we'll give you our latest press release that was Tuesday or Wednesday of last week. I can't remember the exact date. So last week we have a real concern. Bill 67 that the Alder government is trying to pass is going to make that the Rights Information Act will be superseded by 39 acts. And of those 39 acts, the list will be on that, well, some of them will be on that press release. So there's the Bituminous Shale Act, there's the Petroleum Act, there's the Mining Act, the Oil and Natural Gas Act. So what that will do is that when people want to get information regarding those acts will supersede the Rights Information. So we're very, very concerned. As you know, that
does that mean we wouldn't be able to get information necessarily about chemicals that are being used or whatever?
I can't attest 100%, but what it does mean is that they'll be limited. That's right. So that's the question that we have, right? I mean, why the 39 laws? Why would these ones have been included in it? So that's one of the concerns that we definitely have. And as you know, as I'm sure in other jurisdictions, obviously one of the concerns is what are the chemicals? Which chemicals are being used, right? As there's 800 types of chemicals, they say, that could be pumped into the ground. That's right. So
along with all that water.
Exactly.
Okay. So when you say you're for a moratorium, what do you mean? I'll take that one.
There you go. Well, we want to stop the development. We want to make sure, if ever we decided to go ahead with this, that there's a social license, which is clearly, with you here, that's not the case. And we also want to make sure that we're informed. And when there's two huge studies, I don't know if I'm sure a lot of you follow this, but two huge studies, one being done here federally in Canada, and the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency, is doing one as well. And it's all due to be done in 2014. So,
which is an election year.
Yeah, but that's fine. I mean,
no, that's good.
Yeah, well, okay, yeah, okay, from your point of view. But I mean, yeah, it shouldn't matter. But I understand with the system that we have, sometimes that's a factor, of course. But what that means to me is that obviously there's people that have a lot of concerns, valid questions, and we're going to have a lot more information in a few months and maybe over a year at the most.
We need a time period.
Yeah, so why would we dive into that, into this industry now when we're going to have two huge studies that have been going on for months and months and months come out in the next few months? So it seems to me it makes sense to at least wait for that.
So what you're saying is a moratorium at least until those two reports are out?
Well, for sure. I mean, that to me, that's a no-brainer. I mean, if people have... But I want to be clear here, because I've done interviews and sometimes people skew the thing. A moratorium. The point of a moratorium is to be able to press pause to make sure that we don't go ahead with this until we feel comfortable. With the two reports, we may feel comfortable, but we may also feel even less comfortable. So we'll obviously...
Well, there's also the medical officer of health report.
Absolutely.
And so that should be, I think that should be in your list of 3 reports. That needs to be implemented. We need to look at that.
Implemented, yes. I mean, the point of the 2 other reports that we don't have information. Right? So with those information, there'll be more information. She obviously had some concerns. She said she could see a world where fracking would be safe, but as of right now, as you all know, you guys, I'm sure, follow that even more than I am able to do. So she obviously has major concerns, and she said that they weren't addressed.
Okay, here comes the... Dog issue.
I have a dog that looks like that and acts exactly like that.
Okay, there you go. You know the dog.
They're
friendly. You're friends with that, but that's your dog's brother or sister. Okay, so this is a more contentious issue. Have you been following the kettling and the way that the police have been operating, the extent of the police activity here?
I'll be honest, I haven't. That's why I'm here too. I wanted to see firsthand. I've heard
behind you. That's all.
Well, what you're seeing here is nothing.
There's nothing.
Have you gone on the internet? YouTube? Honestly?
I haven't seen the videos. If you guys want to send them, you can absolutely.
Okay, we will send them to you. Thank you for because
there's no police presence today.
I've heard that.
The other
I
day.
definitely heard that, but obviously I wanted to.
The media has covered some of it, but I mean some of it is often, as you can see, the media is not here, partly because we've dealt with huge roadblocks that have kept the media out, and there's been lies told about the media damage and stuff not happening. You don't know where that is.
Well, I can tell you on my way here, I stopped to talk to a few of the people that were working. And I asked if the protesters had done anything. They said, no, not really.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you for saying that. But Swin is saying we are.
Yeah. The only thing that they did said something about a finger salute a few times.
Well, it's still a free country, I think.
I said that I got that a few times too in politics, so they shouldn't worry about it.
Could I ask?
I have a couple more questions. We have a list here, and then you can have the floor and ask all the questions you like. But go ahead. Is that okay?
Hurry up before I start talking.
Do you know who's paying for all the RCMP here? Is it the province? Is it the federal province?
I'm not sure. One thing that I've said to someone today that I could do to help, at least I think this would help if you all agree. I can definitely ask some questions in the legislature to find out exactly what's the plan.
We'll get the questions to you.
If you want to get us some,
yeah, we'll get you some questions. Yep. There's a huge issue around the respect for Mi'kmaq treaty rights, and the whole issue of duty to consult and ceremonies taking place being interrupted when the consult has been observed. Can you comment on that?
Yeah, and actually I wrote a paper on the duty to consult 3 years back, and I even have some suggestions that I'm wanting to get some feedback on how to strengthen the duty to consult as well. So,
okay, so you get a chance to do that.
Yeah, so I'm well aware of that, and obviously just to go on another separate tangent, and even with the West East pipeline that's being talked about, one thing that we've asked the Premier to do right away is to start the dialogue with First Nations and of course with local communities that could be affected to make sure that they're consulted properly.
It seems as if Native women have been targeted in some of the
Really?
activities. Yes.
Okay.
So I'm wondering, you know, if in the information we send you, are you prepared to really look at that in the information that gets sent to you and is brought to your attention and see if there's something we need to step up on there?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'll be honest, I've heard some rumors of what's been happening here, and I wanted to come firsthand. I hadn't heard anything of that, so if you do have some information.
Yeah, okay. And finally, what can you do to bring a moratorium into place right now?
Yeah, well, one of the things that we're going to keep doing is pushing this in the legislature. And as Dan passed out, I mean, just as last week, we did another press release talking about some of the concerns we have. We had Bernard LeBlanc, Laurent LeBlanc as well, pushing for a moratorium and trying to make our points in the legislature constantly. And of course, as an elected official, that's our biggest tool, right, is the legislature, and to try and push the dialogue and push the debate. So we'll continue to do that. I mean, you know, you have our support on that for sure. And we've been doing it for over 2 years now. So we'll continue to do so. If there's anything else you think I can do, I mean, I'm definitely all ears.
Well, you guys have a ways to go. You opened the can of worms, but you got a ways to go to manage it now, right? You know, so that's where.
I wasn't there, but I
yes, the party was.
I know what you mean.
Yes. So, well, I gave them an out in one of my editorials. The Liberal Party not then having all those studies that we now have, and back when David Alward was saying this needs to not happen because it will pollute air and water. He himself said that back before all these studies that we now have.
Well, I appreciate you acknowledging that.
You know, so that was what I put in one of my editorials.
And there's more studies coming.
And there's more studies coming. And yes, so we can find your email online.
Absolutely. Brian Gallant at nbliberal.ca.
At nbliberal.ca. And the paper that you wrote on duty to consult, would you post that on your Facebook?
Yeah, it was a paper that I wrote for McGill when I was there. So what I am doing though,
are you not ready to?
Well, that's the thing. I want to take that paper and actually make concrete follow.
He was a student when he wrote it.
Yeah, and I want to consult. And I want to consult.
He was drinking too much coffee.
Yeah, I want to consult with some more stakeholders to see if they're good ideas, right? I mean, I consulted back then as well when I wrote the paper, but I want to do more exhaustive consultation on that. Yeah.
Because these people